Hey, and welcome to 252 Theater. We're so glad that you guys could join us for this weekend as we talk about our theme of focus. That's right, we are taking a closer look. Specifically, this summer, we're going to be taking a closer look at the big idea of faith. Faith is trusting what you can't see because of what you can see. Sort of like right now, how I'm trusting that even though I can't see my co-host Chris, that he'll be along any minute. If you guys haven't checked out our recent services online, you might not know this, but Chris usually is behind the camera, but this month he's decided to help us in front of the camera on stage, and I'm sure he's going to be along any minute. What was that? Sorry, just thought I heard someone say they saw him. Anyways, yes, so Chris is usually here. I'm sure he'll be along any minute. He had a game that I saw loaded. It's a little weird, something about a cutout. I didn't quite get it, but we're going to be playing that in a little bit. What? I'm sorry, it sounded like I heard someone say he was here again. I still don't see him, but that's okay because, like I said, we're talking about how we can trust and what we can't see because of what we can see. And I am oh, hey, Chris.
Good to see you too, Jesse. Don't get too close to me, though. I have allergies.
Wait, allergies? What are you talking about? Why is your mouth not moving? What's going on? Wait a second.
I like coffee, too. Anyone want to play mini golf?
Okay.
Did you see the sky today? Talk about blue.
Alicia, what is going on?
Well, I mean, Chris, he was scared to come today because
He's scared to come today.
Well, he was scared, so he asked if I could help by bringing out this cutout of him, and I also have this little soundboard app thing. Oh, see, look, I'll show you.
Oops, I fell.
Wait, hold on. Okay, you're telling me Chris thought that this was gonna fool me? How did he think this was gonna fool me?
Oh, that's right. He said he did. Oh, hold on. I got it. Don't worry, Justin. I got it.
I didn't think you would notice. I was hoping that you'd think I'd lost some weight.
Oh, brother.
Yeah.
Okay, Alicia, this is ridiculous. I would not fall for this. Okay, why? Hold on. Okay, this doesn't make sense. First of all, why is Chris not here? What is he afraid of exactly?
Well, he said that he heard that June 21st was the first day of summer.
It is.
And he's kind of scared of sunscreen.
What? Scared of sunscreen?
Yeah.
Alicia, this doesn't make any sense. Okay, you know what? It's all right. Obviously, Chris is not actually here. I don't know why you thought that would fool me. But maybe we can play a game. In fact, actually, this makes a little bit more sense. I was just telling the kids I didn't quite understand the game that he had loaded for this weekend. It's called Whose Cutout Is It?
Wow.
And apparently, it's possible that it's Chris's. So the idea here is we're going to see a silhouette, and the kids have to guess what it is, okay, what the item is. So, are you ready to play?
I'm excited.
All right, let's
ready.
see if the kids are ready to play at home. Let's see our first item. All right, here we go. Alicia, do you think that is broccoli or is it a tree? Broccoli or a tree?
Hard. I think it's broccoli.
Is it broccoli? Nice! Woo! I don't know if you got it right at home, but Alicia got it right here. Way to go. Alicia, let's do the next one.
Okay.
Okay, is this a paint splatter or is it a hamburger?
Oh, I don't know.
Definitely don't want to confuse those two.
No, definitely not. What do you think, Justin?
I'm going to go with paint splatter.
I'm going to go with hamburger.
Hey! Oh, man, you got it right, Alicia. All right, you're
Crazy.
2 for 2. Okay, is this an insect or is it a flower? I'm going with flower this time.
I'm going to go with insect.
And we got... Hey, that was good. I got that one right. I told you it was a flower. Oh, let's see the next one. Last one. Windmill or a sunflower?
Windmill.
Is it? Yes.
Ooh.
All right. Well, that was an interesting game.
Yes, that was very fun, Chris. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I tell you what, we're going to get to our story. And
Okay.
actually, in our story, there's some things that seemed a little bit scarier than they ended up being. We're going to find out about that in just a second.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. And now for an amazing story.
Hey, just like that video said, we are talking about God's big story, and we're talking about it out of the Bible. Today, we are picking up where we left off last weekend with our story about Saul. Last weekend, Chris was here, which this week he's not, so might be a little weird. I don't know exactly what we're going to do with him not being here. He was supposed to...
Don't worry, Mr. Jesse! Don't worry!
Hey, what's up, Alicia? What are you doing?
Sorry,
What's going on?
I just got really excited.
Still just carrying Chris around. That's,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, we're just hanging out.
Okay.
Anyways, so I had the perfect idea. So since Chris left this soundboard here,
Yes.
I thought it would be really great if we show some pictures while you tell the story so the kids can imagine it. And then with the soundboard, I will provide the sound effects.
Okay, so you're going to play, you're going to show a picture of what the story could have looked like,
Yes.
and you're going to provide sound effects. That
Exactly.
actually helps. I mean, Chris is the more technical one. Are you sure you feel comfortable running the soundboard? I mean, you can provide sound effects that fit the story?
Mr. Jesse, absolutely. I
Gotcha.
mean, the kids at home, they're going to be clapping. They're going to be so proud
So,
of
like,
me.
you could provide the clapping sound effect, like we're right now, even.
Yes.
That's the...
Oops, that was the wrong one.
booing me.
Sorry.
Okay.
Here you go. See? They're clapping for me because I just did it.
Okay, we'll give it a try, I guess. There's editing, right? Okay, all right, let's just go ahead and get started.
Let's go, Chris.
Okay, so we're going to tell a story about Saul. Now, if you were here last week, if you weren't, that's okay. Just go back to our YouTube channel. You can catch it online. But we started this amazing story about a guy named Saul. If you remember, Saul was a mean dude, okay? He did not... Oh, nice, Alicia. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, Saul did not like the Christians. He did not like the followers of Jesus, and he was on his way to Damascus to arrest them. And in Acts chapter 9, we read about it. But before he gets to Damascus, he's on the road, and all of a sudden a bright light shines down, and Saul is knocked to the ground. I mean, this is amazing. Nicely done. Good job. Yes, Saul's knocked to the ground, and a voice from heaven speaks, and Jesus tells him to stop persecuting him. Jesus tells him that he wants him to follow him, and so Saul starts to follow Jesus. But by doing what he says, the first thing he tells him is he wants to go to Damascus, and he wants him to go to a man named Judas, his house on Straight Street. That's what the Bible tells us in the book of Acts, chapter 9. And so he goes there, and you right there, Alicia? Yeah. Okay. So Saul goes there, and meanwhile, God talks to a man named Ananias, and he tells Ananias this: go to the house of Judas on Straight Street. Ask for a man from Tarsus named Saul. He's praying. In a vision, Saul has seen a man come and place his hands on him. That man's name is Ananias, and in the vision, Ananias placed his hands on Saul so he could see again. So God tells this to Ananias, and remember, in Ananias' mind, he knows who Saul is. He is one scary dude. I mean, this guy was arresting believers and arresting Jesus followers. It's very dramatic. Thanks, Alicia. Yeah. And so Ananias speaks back in the book of Acts, chapter 9. He says, Lord, I've heard many reports about this man. They say he has done great harm to your holy people in Jerusalem. Now he has come here to arrest all those who worship you. The chief priests have given him the authority to do this. I mean, Ananias is honest with God. He's like, hey, I'm scared to do this. But God tells him, hey, I want you to go. I have special plans for Saul. And so Ananias sets out to see Saul. I mean, this had to have been incredible. Can you imagine Ananias as he walks in? It would have been really, really scary and really, really dramatic. And so Ananias gets there. Saul hasn't eaten anything for 3 days. I mean, he has just been heartbroken. Is that supposed to be Saul's stomach?
Yeah, or it was mine. I don't know.
Okay, all right. Anyways, Ananias lays his hands on Saul. He prays for him, and something like scales fall from Saul's eyes, and he can see again. It's amazing. Oh. Nice, thank you. And so Ananias heals Saul, and he realizes that Saul actually has become a follower of Jesus. He has put his faith in Jesus, and so he baptizes Saul. It is this really, really cool moment. Now, here's the thing. Once Saul becomes Paul, he becomes a follower of Jesus, he starts telling other people about Jesus. Now, just get this in your mind, okay? A week before, he was going to arrest all these believers. And now he is telling people about Jesus. The high priest and the people that had sent Saul were so angry with him that he was telling other people about Jesus. They actually set a plan in motion to capture him and to kill him. Yeah. That's
Run
terrifying.
for your lives!
Okay, yes, well, thank you. But no, they actually didn't run for their lives. The believers helped Saul escape. The believers in Damascus, they helped lower him outside the city wall, and they help him escape safely. And so they come and they save the day. Nice, yes. I mean, just
There we go.
super brave. They sneak Saul out of the city, and he makes it out alive, and Saul heads to Jerusalem, right? Now, when he gets to Jerusalem, there's other believers there, but the problem is these believers still think Saul is a mean dude. Alicia, I said scary.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Okay, that's a little bit better.
Is that better?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. So they were really scared of him. But a guy named Barnabas had heard about Saul's story, and even though everybody thought they shouldn't be talking with Saul or now Paul, Barnabas actually, despite what everybody else was saying, sticks up for the guy. Can you imagine standing up to all those other people? And he says, listen, I think we should trust Saul. He comes alongside him. He introduces him to the leaders of the early church, Peter and James, and they hear Saul's story. They hear what Jesus has done in Saul's life, and they accept him as one of his own, and Saul starts telling people about Jesus. But again, it's not very long until all of a sudden there's people that want Saul taken out. I mean, this, and you imagine how brave Saul had to be to continue telling people about Jesus. I mean, he was there, and he arrested some of the people that believed in Jesus. He knew what could happen to him for telling other people about Jesus, but he did it anyways. Now, you're never going to believe what happens. The believers get together, and they're in Jerusalem. They're after Saul again, and this time, I mean, all these people are after him, but they don't chicken out because... Alicia, I said they don't chicken out.
Oh,
They
oops.
weren't chickens.
Oops, my bad.
Okay, yes.
Sorry about that.
They were brave. They were brave, and they stood up, and they helped sneak Saul out again. They go with him outside of Jerusalem to keep him safe, and Saul goes to his hometown of Tarsus, and he continues to wait on what God wants him to do. But here's the thing, and that was a pretty incredible story, and Alicia, you did provide some pretty great sound
Thank you.
effects.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you don't have, did you add applause for yourself? You don't have to do that. No, okay, all right, sorry. Okay, good job, Alicia. Now, here's the thing. That is a pretty cool story, but I want to ask you a few questions. What do you think about what the early church had to go through? I mean, when you think about our year, even the year 2020, we've had some pretty big ups and downs, haven't we? But think about Saul. I mean, Saul had a lot going on, and so did Ananias, and so did Barnabas. All three of these guys were incredibly brave. I mean, look at Ananias. Ananias went, and he was one of the first people to go to Saul after he became a Christ follower and talk to him and hear his story. But Saul, I mean, he was a scary dude at the time. And Ananias didn't know for sure, but he trusted that God had changed him, and he trusted God no matter what, and he went and did what God asked him to do. Or then you look at Barnabas. I mean, all these people are saying, hey, Saul's a bad guy, we can't trust him. But Barnabas stands up to his friends and says, hey, I think this is the right thing to do. I think we need to accept this guy as one of our own. I really think he's genuine in following Jesus. And you look at Saul. I mean, Saul was there when Stephen died. He saw what happened to people that believed in Jesus, but yet even though that was the case, he was willing to say that he was a Christ follower and that he wanted to follow Jesus. Now, here's my point. My point is there's been some scary things that have happened this year. There's been some hard things that have happened this year, but the early church, they had to face huge, gigantic fears. And the reason they were able to face them is because they knew Jesus. In fact, that's our bottom line for today. Knowing Jesus can help you face your fears. Because when you know that Jesus is stronger and more powerful than anything, even though we can't see God, we know we can trust him no matter what. Remember, faith, it's trusting what you can't see because of what you can see. And even though we can see our fears, we can trust that Jesus is bigger than those fears because he was for the early church and he still is today. Let me pray for us that God will help us face our fears this week. God, thank you so much for this story. Thank you for the bravery that we have written down about the early church, the brave things they did to spread the name of Jesus. God, we know that the kids and the people and the adults and the parents and the small group leaders watching this video are all facing a lot of scary things. But God, you are bigger than all of them. Help us to know that we can trust you no matter what. And help us to remember that when we know who you are, we can face any fear that might come our way. So in your name we pray, amen.
You are above every other. Your love amazes me. You created every beautiful color for everyone to see. I want the world to know, I want my life to show just what your love has done for me. Here we go! In your love I'm free, in your love I'm forgiven, forgiven. Your love it makes me sing, your love it gives me a reason to lift my voice, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. I lift my voice, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. You are the giver of all things good and perfect. I give you all of my praise, God, 'cause only you deserve it. I want the world to know, I want my life to show just what your love has done for me. In your love I'm free, in your love I'm forgiven, forgiven. Your love it makes me sing, your love it gives me a reason to lift my voice, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. I lift my voice, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. I sing and dance, I clap my hands, I lift my voice, I lift my voice. I sing and dance, I clap my hands, I lift my voice, I lift my voice. In your love I'm free, in your love I'm forgiven, forgiven. Your love it makes me sing, your love it gives me a reason to lift my voice, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. I lift my voice, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. I lift my voice, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. I lift my voice, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. I lift my voice, yeah.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to our 2v2 service today. We hope you guys enjoyed it. We enjoyed having you join us, and we want to make sure you know about a couple things. We want to keep this conversation going, so make sure you ask your parents about checking out the KidzWorld Facebook page or the KidzWorld Instagram, because we are going to be posting activity there. In fact, Artie has a fun activity there today where he's got something you can do at home to talk about how you can face your fears, and so we would love to see you guys participate in that. Also, want to make sure you guys know every single week we are posting a midweek video on Wednesday that's got some fun activities you can do at home. This last week, we made some coffee cup rockets, which was pretty cool. And also this week, this coming Wednesday, Alicia is going to be facing her fears in a pretty epic way, okay? It's going to be fun, so don't miss it. Also, we want to make sure you guys know that on July 11th and 12th, we will be starting up live services again. So we can't wait to see you in person. We'll have a 4 o'clock service, a 9:30, and 11:15, and we can't wait to see you here that weekend. Oh, sounds like Chris is FaceTiming me. You know what? I should probably take this. After all, he wasn't here today. Let's see what he has to say. Hey, Chris, are you there? Hey, Chris, man, we were really needed you today,
as
buddy.
Alicia probably told you, I was terrified. It was the first day of summer, and I have a big phobia of sunscreen. And just like you said in the story today, to face our fears, I decided to put on some sunscreen and face my fear, just like you said.
Wow. Well, I'm impressed, Chris. I mean, you faced your fear. Wait a second. Chris, you on a beach? You're not afraid of sunscreen. You just use that as an excuse to get out of work.
Oh,
Is that right?
You're cutting out, Jesse.
No,
I'm
hey,
losing signal.
Wait a second.
Thanks for
We
being
need
proud
to-
of me.
No, I'm not, Christopher. I think he played me. Okay, you know what? I'm going to have a conversation with him. We can't wait to hear the conversation that you get to be a part of on Facebook and Instagram. So we'll see you there, and we'll see you back here next weekend. Thanks for tuning in, guys.